China has been very aggressive in controlling critical mineral resources, especially those in the renewable energy industry and EV batteries, such as cobalt in Africa, lithium, copper, and of course, nickel in Indonesia. Is that a concern for the US?
Yes, absolutely. The US is concerned. Restricting the source of the supply of a commodity to a single source increases the risk of supply disruptions from any of a number of different possible causes. And after seeing China's share of the critical minerals market increase so rapidly, at the same time that demand for these minerals is increasing in response to decarbonization policies, the US and other countries are taking some important steps to reduce our dependency on Chinese suppliers. The key goal of these steps is to diversify supply chains. That doesn't mean the US necessarily needs to develop an independent supply through onshoring, but that we help support multiple sources of reliable supply, sometimes called multi-shoring. And specifically, the US launched two key efforts in 2022. One is the Minerals Security Partnership. This is a multinational agreement to strengthen and diversify critical mineral supply chains, which includes mining, processing, and recycling. And the idea is to realize the full economic benefit of these processes at the same time adhering to the highest environmental, social, and governance standards and maintaining multiple sources of supply in multiple locations so that if any one goes down for any reason, it doesn't have a dramatic effect on the global supply of these critical minerals. And a number of countries in major mining countries around the world are parties to this partnership. And then the other key activity is the US Inflation Reduction Act. This provides a production tax credit for the production costs of critical minerals produced in the US or its territories. And for electric vehicles to be eligible for the full clean vehicle credit, the majority of the battery's critical minerals must be sourced from the US or a country with which the US has a free trade agreement. And a vehicle is ineligible for the credit if any of the battery's critical minerals come from a foreign entity of concern, which includes China. Lastly, there is increasing interest in mining polymetallic nodules from the deep seabed. And while a lot of questions about the environmental impacts and technical feasibility remain unresolved, and if mining were to occur, it'd be many years off yet. But such mining would introduce a number of new sources of supply, which would potentially radically disrupt existing critical mineral supply chains.
Do you see the strategy that the US formed fast enough, or is there some ways that you think the US could occupy a better position in the competition with China?
I think what we're doing now is going to be very good. I think we waited too long. It took a long time. And I think it was really the decarbonization efforts that really triggered us to move, I think. And now it's going to be very difficult. China has invested a tremendous amount over a long time, and it's got a tremendous amount of central government support to keep prices low. So it's very, very difficult to compete with those low prices. And mining companies that I've met with are tempted to go to China. And so this is why the US needs to take these more active steps to incentivize miners to send their ore to other places for processing, to develop other minerals processing capabilities around the world.
Does the US have sufficient critical mineral resources domestically? What are the advantages and disadvantages of the US have in this industry?
Some, yes, but certainly not all. We do not have sufficient sources of all the critical minerals we need. And we saw with petroleum, it's unnecessary. As long as you've got multiple sources of supply around the world, friendly partners and allies, then I think we'll be okay. We can develop what we can at home, and we should, but I don't think we have to necessarily produce everything at home. And we need to be smart about which aspects. I mean, resources are part of the earth, and they are where they are. We can't choose that.
If China continues to have basically like a total control in the critical mineral resources, what could the development of China's industry be, and what might happen to the US industry?
Well, we're already seeing China's dominating the battery market. completely. And that's, so far it's working. We can get supply, but there's any number of ways that could become compromised, and we're at high risk. The rest of the world is at great risk of that happening for any of a number of reasons. And so I think it's really important to diversify not just the mining and the processing and the recycling, but also the intermediate products development.